Here to give us her perspective on recent events in Turkey, please welcome back to the show my dear friend, Isik Abla. She's a former Muslim who's now an evangelist. You've gone the other way.
Yes.
And you do it through TV, you do it through social media. You're a Facebook phenomenon. You've had millions of views on Facebook. What's your take? Where are we going in the current situation in Turkey?
Well, I can look at the situation from natural eyes first, of course. From the natural eyes, it's very saddening. I grew up during a civil war in Turkey, and military troops ended it at that time. Mm-hmm. And we saw a little pitiful version of it, glimpse of it today, what is happening in Turkey. And it's very shaky. People cannot trust the government at this point, and there's such a big division going on in my country right now. And it's very concerning. Of course, it's heading to the more Islamic direction, and that is very concerning. But from the spiritual eyes, when we look at it, we are in the end times. And this is almost end times prophecies are being fulfilled, because when you look at the world right now and what is going on, this is just a piece of the puzzle Turkey is playing right now.
I've been to Turkey. And I think it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
And Istanbul is a cosmopolitan city.
Yes.
It's the crossroads of the world, and it links Europe with the Middle East, with Asia. I've even gone into what I thought was going to be the countryside, to Izmir, and found a thriving, beautiful city.
Yes.
With lots of prosperity. It seems like the people were very happy, well-fed, well-educated, and prosperous. Why would they want to turn to become a Muslim state? Why is that so attractive to them?
Well, it is not turning into an Islamic state is attracted to them. They were looking for a strong leader. And most of the time, strong leaders, whether on the good direction or not, they get a lot of followers. So the personality of Erdogan drew them, this crowd, to him, because Turkey for a long time lacking a strong president, strong leader. So this guy, he knows, and he's idealist in his own way. And he has an ideology to follow, and people needed that. People needed purpose. And Erdogan, whether right or wrong, he's giving that purpose to those people that are looking for Turkey to be, again, great nation like it used to be. So he's giving them that dream that we can become an empire, and people are looking for that.
Well, you stood in front of the White House and put something out on Facebook. Let's take a look at that right now.
When I came to this country running away from my former fanatical Muslim husband for my life, this great country opened its doors to me. And it is a great grief for my heart to see what is happening in America right now. And I want to pray with you. I want you to join me in prayer right now, to pray for a revival, great revival in the United States of America, to take this nation back from radical Islam. And I was one of them, and I know what Quran says. I know what the Quran talks about jihad, and I was a former jihadist. And today, because of this great land, I have so much unconditional love because of my God who died on the cross for me. I used to worship as a former radical Muslim. I used to worship to a God who told me to go, die, and kill in his name. But today, I worship an amazing God who came and died on the cross for me. And I am inviting everybody to know the unconditional love of Jesus Christ.
Well, it seems like you feel strongly about this.
Yes, very strongly.
You seem so calm today.
Well, when I speak about Jesus Christ, I cannot be calm.
What got you so worked up in front of, what was it about being in front of the White House? What do you see? It seems like you're trying to wake us up.
Yes.
What do you think we need to be awakened to?
Well, revival is needed when something is dying. Somebody is dying. A small example of it is a CPR. And I see the church in the Western world, not only in America, is dying today. And we are spiritually lazy, and when we think that we have God, familiar spirits are operating. So we are far away from the truth, simple truth of the gospel. And God started igniting me. I was not worked up, it was the Holy Spirit was just igniting that fire in me, and I could not hold it in, just Jeremiah said. I couldn't hold it in anymore. And I am at that place right now. I cannot hold it in.
What about Turkey?
Yes.
Turkey used to be the center of Christianity.
Yes.
Constantinople, the Hagia Sophia, was literally the center. It moved from Jerusalem to Constantinople and then ultimately moved to Rome. But now there are no Christians there. I mean, there are pockets of Christianity, there are pockets of revival. I think people are becoming awakened there. But this is a place where the Apostle John planted the churches. This is the place where the Apostle Paul planted churches. And now those same churches, all the 7 churches of Revelation, are all gone. Yes. What can we do there?
Well, earlier you talked about Hagia Sophia, and it was a great church. It was the largest church at that time. And when you look at the condition of the church in the 6th century, that church was declining in faith. There was witchcraft, there was divination, and Christianity was not in the same shape or form of when Paul left the church or John left the church. And we see the results today. None of those churches exist in that land. And I think that's a great example and a warning sign for all of us in America or in the Western world that we cannot trust in what we have, our great churches. We can turn into Hagia Sophia. And it can happen very soon. What can we do over there? We can only preach the gospel. You know, in 1 Corinthians 13, it talks about when perfection comes, imperfection disappears. And that perfection is Jesus Christ. All we can do is to preach the gospel, preach the good news, and show the unconditional love of Jesus Christ with a passion. Not any other agenda, not with a Western gospel, because I always say Christian American God is not God of the Bible. And we need to go there with the simple truth of the gospel to save those lands. This is all we can do. Be passionate about it and on fire about it.
It seems like you're passionate about it.
Little bit, yeah.
It seems like you're on fire.
I still need more passion, but...
It seems like it's burning in your bones. You've got to preach. What do you think it's going to take for us to wake up?
Well, God has been recently revealing to me big shaking is coming, and a lot of other preachers, pastors, they prophesy about that, but it is very soon. I think it's going to take something bigger than what happened.
There have been some big shakings.
Yes, but it was not good enough.
You go back to 2000 election where we couldn't determine who won the election.
Exactly.
Then you get 9/11, and I remember the Sunday after 9/11, our churches were packed.
Yes.
And then it just seemed to go away.
Yes.
Then you have this terrible recession in 2008. It seems that God is shaking the political scene, and then he shook our confidence that we were secure in our borders, and then he shook our financial system to its core with people fearing that it was all going to collapse. And what's left to shake?
There's a lot left to shake. We are still in our comfort zones, and we are slowly dealing with the problems and tragedies. But when something comes big, to God's word says, I am going to shake once more heavens and the earth. And I think that kind of shaking America hasn't experienced yet. I know that kind of shaking. I've been to Middle East. I grew up in the Middle East. I know when you have nothing. I met with refugees. All they have is Jesus. We haven't come to that point yet that all we have is, and all we need is Jesus Christ. We are not there yet. We are hurting, we have drug abuse, we have dysfunctional families, divorce, abortions, perversion, everything, but we are just still sleeping in the midst of that mess. But God is going to bring something to our attention in a greater deal. And this is why my purpose, I believe, at this moment and time, to wake up people, as many as they can, join me in fasting and praying, because God always takes care of his remnants.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
And he always answers prayer.
Amen.
And we're going to be calling people to prayer. And I encourage you to join in with prayer. Join with Isik in her fast. Join in prayer. Now more than ever, the church needs to be salt and light. We need to figure out we're the hope of the world. And the message of the gospel has been entrusted to us. Now we need to go out and preach it. And so ask for the fire that Isik has in her bones. Ask for that it won't be quenched, that you'll preach and change hearts. Well, if you want to keep up with Isik, I would encourage you to follow her on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can find all those links at her website at isikalba.com. And it's always a pleasure to have you. I'm going to call you by your nickname.
Thank you.
It's always good to have you here. And keep that fire burning. I
Thank you.
love it. It's wonderful.
Thank you.